Okay, good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to everyone who's joining us today, to Clarice, to Michael, to Peter, to Estelle, and to Rabbi Liz sitting opposite me. Lovely to see you all. Who's still coming on? David, good morning. Looking well. Great result at the result. Yeah, the game was postponed, so we didn't lose. Okay, so just want to share. Firstly, as always, our learning is dedicated in memory of all those who have Yortzeit today. Actually, I do have the list with me. As well as all those that we are saying Kaddish for in the community. I hope everyone's keeping well. I hope you enjoyed Edwin Shuker's presentation on Monday night, and we are looking forward to the very Reverend Michael Plasko, Rabbi Chazan, MBE, this coming Monday night. So let's just say the names of those that have Yortzeit for today, the 19th. And today's learning is dedicated in memory of Alsa Bas Herschel Burnett, Rus Bas Avram Goldwater, Reuven ben Pesach Lederman, David ben Avram Peiser, Reuven ben Pesach Lederman, Esther Bas Nachenberg K. That's it. Wish everyone long life. A bit intimidating to sit across the great Rabbi Liss of the CRE and to speak off the cuff, but nonetheless, we'll do the very best we can. Still coming through the door, Richard and Rachel. Good morning. Okay, so one of the things that we know this week's parsha we've already mentioned is the highlight, the zenith in Jewish history is arguably the Ten Commandments, divine revelation, God speaking to us, right? Einei kol Yisro, in the eyes of all the Jewish people. And one of the things that was a prerequisite, that was the preface, as it were, was the fact that there was Jewish unity, achdus, as we say, between the Jewish people at the time. And Vayichan Sham Yisro neged Ahar, Jewish people, they encamped in opposite the mountain, and our commentators, Rashi says, and the Sfarim say, they were like one entity, like one being. Why is that so important? Huh? Don't things seem to go best when we argue, when we have a dispute, right? Isn't that the way of the Jewish people? 2 Jews, 3 opinions. Or as Golda Meir says, a nation that refuses to say yes as an answer. What does it mean that we had Achdus, unity? And in fact, if a superficial look at the Talmud, many would say, what do you mean? We don't get along. We're argue. There's a Hillel, there's a Shammai, is that right? There's a Rava, there's a Baya. Everyone, we're all arguing, right? And here you say, oh no, we don't. We always argue. So what's going on? So and firstly, why did there have to be unity? You know, there are many things that are important in Judaism as a prerequisite, I would have thought, for the giving of the Torah. The right attitude, the right approach. Why is it that the unity was so important? So if we think about the Torah, we think about the 613 mitzvot. We've spoken about it before, the categories, the subcategories, all the various elements and aspects of the Torah. Is it possible for any one person to keep the whole Torah? Has any Jew ever kept the whole Torah? Rabbi Liss, any Jew ever kept the whole Torah? And the answer, he's shaking his head, okay? He's a bit shy. Maybe he'll come on net tomorrow. Anyways, the answer is, of course not. No one Jew, not even Moses, not even Aaron, not even Miriam, not even Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, no one could keep by themselves the whole Torah. Now, I ask you, you're shocked. You're absolutely dismayed. How can that be? Right? In fact, Jacob said, Tariq Mitzvah Shemati, he kept the whole Torah. What does it mean that no Jew ever kept the whole Torah? If we think about it, there are mitzvot in the Torah, as Rav Lev points out, that are specific to being a male. There are mitzvot which are specific to women. There are mitzvot which are specific to kings. There are mitzvot that are specific to the high priest, to the priest, to the Levium, and so on and so forth. God made each of us different, unique, in fact, right? As the Gemara Bracha says, "In datam vein patufem." Each person is unique. We're made unique, right? God broke the mold when it came to making each and every one of us. And if that's the case, why would he do such a thing? I know we spoke about it last week a bit, and the answer is quite simply because each of us has our own unique contribution, our own, as it were, letter in the Torah, our own unique mark that we are meant to make in the Torah, in the keeping of the Torah. No person can do it alone. And God made it specifically like that, because we're not meant to be an island to ourselves. We're part and parcel of something greater. The sum is greater than the parts, than the total number of parts. So if that's the case, therefore, we could only keep the Torah, right, if we come together. It's only when we are able to come together as one and unify around the common cause of our faith, then and only then we can really keep the Torah. But it's more than that. If I look at any one person, right, or as there is always going to be fault. There's always going to be failings. There's always going to be inadequacies, right? So none of us are perfect. But when we come together, and that's the purpose of communal prayer, inevitably, right, we are able to be seen as complementing each other. We are able to fill in for the gaps that others may have. And therefore, it was precisely when we came together, both in the times in terms of the contribution that each of us could make to keeping the Torah and overlooking any flaws, inadequacies that any one person had, that was and is the only way that we can not just survive but thrive as a nation. So there's some food for thought. There's a wonderful story. We'll conclude with this, and we look forward to seeing everyone. Please God, tomorrow, that's Thursday, still trying to keep track of time. So what's the story? The story is about this guy who went on stage and he was performing, and he saw the audience clap, and he was just drawn to a certain there was a lot of soldiers. It was a special benevolent concert, and he saw these soldiers clapping, and he was just mesmerized. What was it? He saw that two of the soldiers were missing, had their arms amputated, and one was taking the only arm that he had, his left arm. The other one was taking the only arm he had, his right hand, and together they were clapping. That's the idea, that we are able to complement each other, to be one, to become one entity. And it is precisely when we are able to do that, to overlook the difference, to focus on what we have in common, that we are able to achieve great things, both as individuals and as a nation. Wishing you all well. Please God, we'll be back tomorrow, hopefully at my desk. Look after yourselves, keep well, have a great day.